Here's a question that was sent to me. The individual wanted to know how they could install a concrete footing, or sometimes this is referred to as underpinning a foundation. This would be when you have an existing foundation, concrete, maybe it's just a patio slab, but someone wants to build a room addition over it. And it might require a footing underneath it, something like this. And I imagine that's what the problem that they're dealing with. Now, the looks like the plans that you sent me, it is centering, the footing is centering over the center of these three 2x4s that they have nailed together. You'd need to verify that. So I believe that it was 350 millimeters. So that would be 175 millimeters from the center to the edge, and from this point to this point for your 350 millimeter hole, the diameter, and it is going to be 24 inches deep. Not 24 inches, I'm sorry, I did the math on that. 600 millimeters deep. And it looks like it's centering over the framing plate here also. Now, there are two dowels, it looks like, that they're trying to have you drill from the underneath. That might be difficult. It's going to be a lot easier to drill from above. And I would imagine the engineer would be okay if you angled that. It would be difficult to drill a hole straight down with some studs in the way here. So you might be able to angle it. And if you do angle it, you might need to angle it to where it's going to stay within the cage here also. So here's what the cage is going to look like. I think this is the biggest problem that they were having. Just what in the heck is it going to look like here? These are the 8 bars they were referring to, HD12s. They're 12 millimeter bars. And I believe they wanted it to be 100 millimeter minimum from the soil to the bottom of the steel. And I would imagine that's the same on the sides. And it looks like they're actually having it, looks like it's about 100 millimeters from the top also in the plan that I was looking at. Now, these are what they were referring to on the plans as R8 links. And they would be round shaped rebar that you would need to have manufactured at a place that does rebar bending. And I think you were wondering where you could get information for that from, and you would need to contact, I think the simplest way would be to contact a concrete contractor, someone who does building foundations, and ask them, explain your situation to them, and just find out if they could recommend you to a nearby individual who does rebar bending. And your rebar is going to be round, and it looks like you are going to need 3 of them. And I believe they were, I think it was 250 millimeters if I'm correct. The rebar, the footing opening, the diameter of the footing was 350 millimeters, and then the diameter of the circular rebar cage you're going to be building is 250 millimeters. Now let's take a look at the dowels. These are the dowels, and you can see it'd be difficult to dig a hole and then drill from the bottom. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if there is an option, if it is actually possible to drill from above and just simply drive the pieces of rebar in below or into the drill from above and then drive them in from above, I think that might work out better. But again, you might need to check with your structural engineer for that. And it didn't have a length on the dowels. I would imagine, bring them at least 12 inches into the cage from the top of the cage. Bring them in there, and you could bring them all the way down if you wanted to. I don't think that would be a problem. It would probably be a problem if you're driving it in through the top. And I don't know, if I think about this, driving it in from the top, the dowels are supposed to, they're not supposed to be able to move very much. And if you drove it in through the top, all the way in from the top, that actually might create a problem for this. So again, like I said, check with your engineer on that. So anyway, I hope that this helps you with your project. Feel free to email me back if you have any questions. And if you have any questions out there, feel free to send them to me through email or put them, post them on the individual videos, and I will get to them as soon as possible.